Welcome to your maths lessons for Monday the 11th of January. Today we're going to continue with ordering fractions, decimals and percentages. So at the top of the screen we're going to keep the LI and our steps to success. I'm going to return back to those in just a moment as we go through the slides. We want to today recap our learning from last week. So over the autumn term we were looking at fractions. We spent lots of weeks on fractions. Then we had a look at decimal numbers, and finally last week we started to look at percentages. And then we've been putting them all together so that we can compare them and then we can order them as well. We're going to continue that learning today. So first of all, I'd like you to think about what do we need to do in order to convert a fraction to a percentage. So for example, if I've got a fraction that is 2 over 5, what do I do to that in order to convert it to a percentage? Just going to give you a moment to think about it before I give you the answer. Okay, well hopefully you've remembered from your learning from last week that we need to convert the denominator. And we need to make the denominator out of 100. And we need to think how we are going to achieve that. Because getting 5 to 100, we need to make it larger. And we need to do that by multiplying. What are we going to multiply that by? How many times does 5 go into 100? Well, I know we did this quite a lot last week. You can either write out your 5 times tables or whatever the times table is for your denominator, or you can do the other way. You can do the inverse and you can do a bit of division so that you can do 100 divided by 5. And you can think about how many times that fits into 100. So for example, 5 does not fit into 1. We need to exchange that over there into the next column. So we've got a 10. How many times does 5 fit into 10? It goes twice. Are there any left over? There aren't. Does 5 fit into 0? No, it doesn't. So we can see here our answer is 20. So we know that 5 goes into 100 20 times. Now remember, whatever we do to the denominator, we need to do to the numerator as well. So this 2 at the top, we also need to multiply by 20. So 2 times 20 is 40. 2 lots of 20 are 40. How do I now make that my percentage? Well, my numerator at the top here, we just take that number because remember we said percentage last week means out of 100, and here my fraction is showing 40 out of 100. So I need to take that numerator and I put it in front of a percentage sign and I've got 40%. Next we need to think about how we're going to convert a 2-digit decimal number into a percentage. So again, before I go ahead and reveal those answers to you, I'd like you just to have a think to yourself. So I'm just going to be quiet for a moment, or you can pause the video, and if you can think about what you need to do. I'm going to just put an example on the screen, 0.54. And I'd like you to think about what you could do in order to convert that to a percentage. Okay, so remember what we said last week. Anything that is already a 2-digit decimal number. Here we have got tenths and we've got hundredths. So we've already got 2 parts, 2 digits to play with here, sorry. What we need to do is make sure that we multiply those digits by 100. I'm just going to rewrite my place value grid over here just so that you can see very, very clearly how that works, what the maths is behind it, what the movements are behind it. So I've got no ones, my decimal points. I've got 5/10ths and I've got 4/100ths. Now I'm going to multiply that by 100, and you can see I've got 1, 2 zeros in 100. That means my numbers are going to be moving 2 place values to the left. So I'm going to start with the 5. That's going to move 1 place value to the ones, and then 2 place values, and it will end up in the tenths column. So my 5/10ths becomes 5/10s. Then I'm going to have a look at my 4/100ths over here. Now again, I've got 1, 2 zeros on the end of 100, so that means my 4/100ths are going to be moving to the left 1, 2 place value columns. So my 4/100ths become 4 ones. So what my original number was, it was 0.54, now becomes 54. And that, now I've multiplied it by 100, has become my percentage, 54%. Now have a little think about what we need to do to a number that is already a percentage. So if I have got the number 35%, do I need to do anything to that number in order to make it a percentage? Well, the answer is no, because it's already written as a percentage. Now, if I think about my numbers that we've been dealing with in this example, we've had 40 over 100, which gave us 40%. And in the last slide, we had 54%. And in this slide here, we dealt with the number 35%. All I need now to do is to put them in order. Now, you need to read your questions very carefully, because sometimes it will ask you to write them from smallest to largest. Sometimes it will ask you to write the answers largest to smallest. They might be rephrased as descending and ascending. So descending means going down. So that would mean writing them from largest to smallest. And ascending means going up, which would mean writing them from smallest to largest. So if I were to order these in descending order, that would mean they need to start with the largest and go to the smallest. So now I can order these, and I would know that the largest one would be 54%. And in its original form, that was 0.54. My next one would be 40%. And in its original form, that was written as 2/5. And my final one would be 35%. That didn't change at all because we didn't do anything to it because it was still in its percentage. So we would still note that as being at 35%. So in this example here, I've arranged them in descending order from the largest to the smallest number that we were dealing with. Remember, let me just put this in a slightly different color so it stands out. If we were going to write it in ascending order, that would mean it's going from smallest to largest. So the opposite way. Okay. So here's your learning for today. We've put a copy of that onto Google Classrooms as well. So the first thing we'd like you to do is have a look at your learning from last week, and we would like you to write a step-by-step guide for how to order them from smallest to largest. And we've asked you here to use a drawing to support your explanation. So you got the first thing here, the sticker, is step by step. Then over here, you've got to prove it with a drawing. After that, you've got to put these fractions, decimals, and percentages in descending order. Now, I have to have a little think about what descending means. The next one asks you to identify which of these numbers is the second largest. So not the largest, the second largest. Here we've got a word problem. You're going to need to pick out the information from this word problem and then explain whether Gloria is correct. And the final one here, number 5, you've got to make a number sentence below using one fraction, one decimal, and one percentage. And you can put them in any order you like. And once you've done that, you need to explain what you did in order to begin tackling this question. Good luck. Speak to you later.